Welcome to my Entrepreneurial Journey, the podcast for women over 40 growing purpose-driven businesses with authenticity and heart. I'm Yaritza, and each week I bring you honest conversations, inspiring stories, and practical strategies to help you grow with clarity and confidence. If you're ready to let go of overwhelm and build a business that truly reflects you, you are in the right place. Hi friends, welcome back to my entrepreneurial journey. Today I want to talk about a trap so many of us fall into, especially in the early years of building a coaching or service-based business. It sounds like this: if I could just sign more clients, everything will fall into place. I used to tell myself that exact thing. And while yes, clients are important, I discovered that chasing more clients wasn't really the answer. What I was craving was something deeper: freedom, breathing room, the ability to say yes to the right projects and not to the ones that drain me. So let's talk about what really drives momentum and sustainable growth, and why it has much less to do with numbers and much more to do with clarity, accountability, and self-trust. So when you say, I just need more clients, what you might actually mean is, I want the security of knowing the bills are covered. I mean, who doesn't want that? I want the freedom to take a vacation without guilt. That's me. I want mornings that aren't immediately stressful. Also me. The clients are simply the vehicle. The real desire is for ease, freedom, and sustainability. But here's the catch. More clients without clarity and boundaries often leads to more overwhelm. You can end up building a business that looks successful on paper, but it feels like a prison in practice. And what changes everything is when you pause and ask, what am I actually building toward? What does enough look like for me? So I have worked with so many women who already have the knowledge. They have taken the courses, downloaded the templates, followed the strategies, but knowledge isn't the issue. Accountability is. You see, there is a lot of people that may say out there, and recently I saw a coach that says that, accountability isn't too effective. But I disagree because having being part of a mastermind group, which is it does give you a degree of accountability. Having a accountability partner or buddy, they work. What happens is, I don't think it's something that you should have all the time. It's something that you may have at certain points in time. Maybe you are going through a phase where you may feel a little bit insecure, or you want to do a project, but you feel like having someone behind you and walking along with you, so you stay on track and clarify things. So I think accountability, having someone to be accountable to, is effective. Because there is the difference between knowing what to do and actually following through. And I'm gonna give you a couple of examples. One client had everything she needed to launch her online course, but she kept missing her own deadline. And, it was an excellent course. It was like probably 10 models. This been quite a while now. And they were really good. They were for a small business owner to manage their finances, all they have to do with taxes, everything. Very much a comprehensive course. And it was very good. But there was this side of, trying to be perfect, so perfect that it kept her pushing the deadline for the launch of the course. So in those cases, I think you need accountability. And I will go further. One of the things that I advised to her was to do a beta course, turn it into a beta course. And then once she got the feedback from, a small group of people taking the course, then she can do more improvements and take it full blown, launch it full blown. Because that will help you deal with that perfectionism that in so many occasions, keep us behind or not let us do what we should be doing. It can delay our growth. I have another client that felt completely overwhelmed trying to get her website live. And she didn't need a new strategy. She needed a structure. When I talked to her, when we started working, she was so overwhelmed and frustrated, and she didn't know where she was coming or going. She was all over the place. And what she needed was calm, have everything in smaller steps, so it was easy for her to take on. And that made such a difference that she was able to launch 6 weeks later her website. It was up and running. And it was like that. It's like we design like to-dos, well, this week, let's work on just this. Let's focus on these 3 things and on the next, and then the next week. And it worked. And she was so happy and she was all light up because she managed to do it. And it was just by having that accountability. So to me, those are 2 examples of the power of accountability. It's not about pressure. It's about support with a backbone. Someone who believes in your vision enough to hold you to it, even when life gets messy. So here's another piece we don't talk about enough, and that is self-trust. So many women in their 40s and 50s tell me they know what to do, but second guess every move. And that happened to me in my 40s. I was always too afraid of taking the next step or doing the thing that it was necessary to do. I was always second guessing, overanalyzing. So that could translate into that they will over-edit their posts, hesitate to rate prices, because then, the guilt start coming in and the doubt, or stall on launching because deep down, they don't fully trust themselves. And I think you also have to listen, be guided by intuition. But when you start rebuilding self-trust, everything changes. You price your work with confidence. You start posting without needing approval. You take consistent action because you believe in your timing and decisions. That's when a strategy finally works, because you work. And another shift that creates momentum is learning to do less on purpose. I see so many women exhausted, not because they are not hard enough. They are not working hard enough, but because they are working on everything. And yes, when you are a solopreneur, or what they call a one-woman shop, yes, you run all the bases. You do everything, the marketing, the client work, the endless, the admin, learning, everything. You might be in 3 social media platforms. You're doing endless tweaking, and the admin, you are learning at the same time, and still no real progress. But I believe that you also need to learn to manage your energy and not just be good at time management. You got to do both, because that is what is going to help you do all the things that need to be doing, but also you need to prioritize. And something that helped me a lot was learning to manage my energy. I know when I could be doing certain work, depending on the time of the day of the week. It's not the same for me to work during the week that it will be during the weekend. And it's about prioritizing. And then time management to me is more about prioritizing what actually moves the needle, what actually bring you growth. So the truth is, effort isn't the same as effectiveness. You don't need to do more. You need to do less strategically. Focus on high impact actions. Build a rhythm that honors your energy. Productivity doesn't have to mean hustle, like I was saying. It's about prioritizing what actually moves that needle, what actually makes the difference in your business. And sometimes it's not just admin. It can mean clarity and calm. Now, if you're still feeling stuck, let me share 3 common reasons, none of which are about your talent. And number 1 is fear of being seen. You might be working tirelessly behind the scenes to avoid discomfort of visibility. And that I suffer from a lot, especially in my 40s. And there was a defining moment, a decisive moment where I got to the point where I realized that if I didn't stop the fear or break out from the fear of being visible, I wasn't going to go anywhere. My business wasn't going to go anywhere. I wasn't going to move them, have any growth. And so I needed to stop being afraid and just adopt this mentality of feel the fear and do it anyways. Oh, if it's not right, forget, I'm just going to do it and don't think about it. And that is what helped me. Sometimes I do, the fear of being seen comes along, but I manage it much better. And so that is what I want you to know is basically that it's not weakness. It's a nervous system response. And if you're like an introvert like I am, it hits really hard, the fear of being invisible. But I have to make the decision. I got to that crossroad where I had to decide and just go for it. The second one is lack of clarity. Not knowing what truly matters this week leads to fatigue, procrastination, and the illusion of failure. And yes, sometimes we are like, oh, I'm failing because I haven't done this, or I have to do this, but I'm still like stuck. And, it's like, what do I do first? Or I don't know what to do. What is the best thing to do next and all of that. But that doesn't mean you're failing. It's just that you don't have the clarity that you need in order to take that next step, in order to tackle the next task. So that's why also having someone, as an accountability partner can help you, because it will help you bring the clarity that you need. And then you could have it for a certain amount of time, then you can walk, on your own. So the third one is mindset spirals. And I know all of you, including me, have gone through all of this. Perfectionism, comparison, imposter syndrome. They whisper, don't bother, it won't be good enough. And I know everybody goes through that. I have. So, but yeah, there are just mindset spirals and you have to work through them. They're always going to be here. They'll always show up at some point or another. If that sounds familiar, know this. You're not failing. You are just carrying invisible weight that strategy alone doesn't address. What you need is clarity, consistency, and accountability that rebuild trust in yourself. So let's circle back. The real growth doesn't come from signing more clients. It comes from clarity, accountability, and self-trust. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are building something brave and meaningful. And if you are craving the kind of accountability that supports your vision, not just your to-do list, I would love to talk. I have opened up a few spots for strategy conversations now opening in October. So the information and the link for all of that is in the show notes. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. So thank you so much for listening. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to my entrepreneurial journey with Yaritza Baez. I hope today's episode gave you insights and inspiration to fuel your business journey. Remember, whether you are just starting out or looking to grow, you are not alone on this path. We are building our dreams together one step at a time. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you feel inspired, leave a review or share this episode with a friend who could use a little extra motivation. Until next time, keep pushing forward and bringing your unique vision to life.